and welcome into Citadel Greyline, a production of CRM Sports. I'm John Rawl, and for the next 45 minutes or so, we will be talking Bulldogs sports, and we will be talking to a very special guest right here on Citadel Greyline. You can get involved with us. Our number, 843-779-8496. That's the number in the Charleston area, and that's available. You can text or call that anytime. We've got an exciting show. How do I know that? Because, first of all, let me welcome in my co-host here on the program, and I'll explain how in the heck this show is going to be so star-studded today. It's going to be star-studded because we've got Andrew Miller back on of the Charleston Post and Courier, and we also have Thomas Scruggs, and the three amigos are all right here. And gentlemen, thank you. Welcome back into the show.
Morning, John.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
It's a star-studded show because in the past, we have welcomed on to Citadel Greyline Jeff Foxworthy. Today, we're going to top that. We're going to have an appearance by William Shatner on today's Citadel Greyline. Did you ever think William Shatner would end up on Citadel Greyline? Well, today is your lucky day. Now, how is that possible? It's possible thanks to a member of the class of 1995, Coker Day. He'll be joining us in a few minutes. Coker is the owner of Pedego Bikes in Aiken and Columbia, the owner of Daybreak Care in the Columbia area. A great guy, someone that I've known and Thomas has known for a while, and we're going to get to know him and learn about his success as he's our Band of Gold spotlight. Coker Day coming up later in the show, and William Shatner too. How about that? Do you like Star Trek, Andrew?
Oh, absolutely. Big fan.
Yeah, big fan, big fan. Well, we got all that covered. We've got drama to talk about on today's Citadel Greyline. As Andrew, at the press conference that the coach had on Monday, it was a very abbreviated press conference from Brent Thompson.
Yeah, it was. It lasted, I looked at my tape recorder, it lasted 2 minutes and 57 seconds. And honestly, normally, this is not incredibly uncommon in the sports world. But usually a coach comes into a press conference after a game where the team hasn't played well or they've lost or something like that has happened, and they have a pretty short, no questions asked press conference after a game. I do think it's pretty unusual. I can only remember two other instances where a coach has come in, on a Monday or a Tuesday, to set up to preview the upcoming football game that Saturday, and it's been that short. One time was under Steve Spurrier at South Carolina, and another time under Tommy West his last year with the Tigers in '98. And those are the only two other instances I can remember where a coach has kind of come in, given a statement, and then just walked out of the room. And that's what happened Monday down at Johnson-Haygood Stadium. I was pretty surprised by that.
We'll talk more about that. We'll actually hear the head coach of the Dogs, Brent Thompson, that section of Monday's press conference that led to him walking off stage left very prematurely. We'll explain what happened. We'll explain the loss to the Furman Paladins at Johnson-Haygood Stadium this past weekend, a tough loss to the rival from the upstate. We'll explain that. We'll see what the Bulldogs do going forward as Wofford is the opponent this coming Saturday there at Gibbs Stadium in Spartan, Vegas. All that right here on the Citadel Greyline. Hey, want to let you know that we are presented in part each week by two great sponsors, IPS Packaging and Automation and BigRedPalmetto.store. Hey, make sure you go to BigRedPalmetto.store and see the incredible lineup of hats, cups. They've got all kinds of great things for the car, for the yard, and more. BigRedPalmetto.store. They bring us each week the Knob Knowledge question. We had some incorrect guesses on that last week, and we'll be firing away another Knob Knowledge question here on this week's show, and maybe we'll have better luck. We've got a whole box full of goodies we want to ship out, but we can't ship it out unless y'all give us the right answer. So BigRedPalmetto.store helps bring us the Knob Knowledge each week, and we'll have that on a little later. I'm going to try to tie it into our guest, Coker Day, by the way, on this week's show. So all of that coming up here. Thank you again for being a part of our show. If you're watching us on our Facebook page, Citadel Greyline, or if you're catching us on the lordsofdiscipline.net or any of the other ways that we are broadcasting, the Citadel Greyline Sports Network. We love it. All right, let's talk about Furman. Andrew, it was a tough game. The Citadel did have a quarterback change, I think brought about by injury. What was going on there that we saw a different QB for most of this game?
Well, it was interesting because on Monday I specifically asked last Monday, not this Monday, but last Monday I specifically asked Brent about the quarterback situation because Ahmad Green had gotten into the game in the fourth quarter against Appalachian State, and I thought he had played pretty well. And I wondered going forward, were we going to see a little bit more of Ahmad Green? And he pretty much said that they were going to evaluate it, but that they still felt that Peyton Derrick was their best option at quarterback. And unbeknownst to me, and I think unbeknownst to a lot of people, Peyton Derrick suffered an injury. From what I'm told, it's a leg injury of some sort. So he could not go. He didn't practice all week. And Ahmad Green makes his collegiate starting debut last Saturday against Furman. And he had 223 yards of total offense. He had 160 something yards of passing, 60 some odd yards of rushing. I thought for his first collegiate start, he played extremely well. He had a couple of bobbled snaps, which was an issue for him in the preseason, and it's really why he didn't win the job in the preseason was because there was an issue between that center quarterback exchange. Coming out of May River High School, he played predominantly, almost exclusively, he told me, out of the shotgun. So getting underneath center, that it's a process for a lot of quarterbacks who haven't done it throughout their career. But for the most part against Furman, I thought besides a bobble here, a bobble there, he handled that pretty well. And then I thought he gave him a real spark offensively against Furman. He threw the ball, I thought, extremely well. Were there a couple of passes where that first series where he hits Christian Hilton, kind of down the middle on a deep ball. If he puts that a little bit further out, then maybe Christian can run under it and take it all the way. Instead, it was a 34-yard gain. I'm certain that Citadel fans aren't going to complain about a 34-yard gain in the passing game, but and there were a couple other passes like that where I thought if he puts it a little bit out in front or lets the receiver kind of run into the catch, that they could have gotten more yards out of it. But other than that, I thought he had a really nice game. I thought he managed the offense really well. And I think he gives them extra element, not only in the passing game, but in the running game. He's a threat to run. You saw the big scrambling run that he made in the second half where I think it was like a 36-yard gain. And a couple plays later, he ends up hitting Ricky Conway in the end zone for the touchdown. So I think he gives him a real spark. I expect him to start Saturday up at Gibbs Stadium against Wofford, although Brent Thompson didn't hang around long enough at the press conference to let me ask him that question.
No, he did not. Thomas, your thoughts on what the Bulldogs did in that loss to Furman?
Well, John, definitely glad to see a member of the Corps of Cadets under center, not a what was that term you used?
I called them carpetbaggers.
Yes, yes. So
opportunists.
Definitely glad to see a cadet under center. I definitely think he gives us a spark, more athletic. What a wasted opportunity on Parents' Day weekend, especially after the defensive effort. I mean, we give him a short field twice, fumbles deep in our own territory. So I really don't put that on defense, but give up 21 points at home, you think you have a good chance to win. And all we can muster is 10 points at home against a rival. So still a lot to fix. It's very disappointing.
Yeah.
I think total rushing yards, Andrew, I don't know if I'm wrong about this, 107 rushing yards from the Citadel.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So we've got our per game average this year, and our triple option offense is 159 yards rushing, 8 points per game. That's not going to win many games. That's why we're 1-4.
Yeah, rushing yards against Furman, Citadel 107, rushing 169 in the passing game. We outpassed more than we outran.
Yeah, and the biggest issue to me is the A-back and getting him going. A lot of teams, as Brent Thompson has pointed out, they're stacking the box. They're putting 8 guys in the box, and it's almost impossible to run between the tackles when you have 8 guys in the box. So you got to do one of two things. You got to be able to pass the ball, again, which I thought that Ahmad Green showed that he can do that, and you got to be able to beat him on the perimeter. And this year, I think the perimeter attack for the Bulldogs, I don't know if it's because of the new cut block rule or not, but they have not been able to get the ball on the perimeter on any consistency. So they're loading up the box, and they're able to stop that perimeter attack, and there's really nothing else for the Citadel that they can do. And I've talked to Brent Thompson about this several times about Is it the offensive line? Is it the running back? And just kind of a combination. They're not getting off the ball. The offensive line isn't getting off the ball as quick as he'd like them to be. The running back isn't hitting the hole as quick as they want him to be, and then they're stacking the box. So all those things are kind of conspiring against the Bulldogs this year.
Andrew, I agree with you. There were a couple opportunities there, deep passes across the middle. We hit those two passes, they're gone. That's a touchdown on both plays. But let me ask you this. I keep hearing the same old tired excuse about the cut block rule. We knew that going into the season. How much of this is just pure physicality? Our guys not getting out and just being physical with the other team, pushing them out of the way. Especially on the perimeter.
Yeah, I definitely think that's part of it. And again, getting off that line quick. Hold on, I have a. Okay, sorry. My wife just interrupted us. I apologize. That was totally unexpected.
That's fine. I'm just glad it's not something more urgent with the Citadel athletic department going on.
As I say, we do have it is DEFCON 4 around here. My daughter's getting married T-minus 10 days. So I was gonna say, if you don't see me next week, you'll know why. Either my daughter or my wife has killed me. But no, yeah, I think that the offensive. I think it's a kind of a combination of things. The offensive line is not being physical enough. They're not getting off the ball quick enough. They're not opening up these holes. When I was covering the team 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, when they had that elite fullback, what we would call the A-back now, that Everett Sands, that Travis Jeremy, I do not see that guy in the Citadel lineup right now. And those guys were crucial to the Citadel offense back in the day. It wasn't so much on the offensive line as it was you got to have an elite A-back, what I would call a fullback, a threat there. And, I think those guys that are playing that position are good, solid players, but they're just not elite like those guys that we've seen in the past. And I think that's part of the problem. But you're right. I think the physicality up front between the offensive line and the defensive line, no question that is an issue. That's an issue right there, yeah.
21-10, Furman beats the Citadel on Parents Weekend on the Citadel campus. Tough loss for the Dogs. Now we're going to move over to Monday's press conference, but before we do that, where Brent Thompson again had a very brief press conference and was upset with something that happened right after the game against Furman. Did you have a chance to talk to the coach just after the game on Saturday, Andrew?
I did, and from what I understand is there was I was at midfield when the flag came down and they sang the alma mater, and there was some jawing going on between the Furman guys and the Citadel guys, and some coaches had to separate them. And at first, when Brent brought this up, I thought that's what he was referring to. But to me, to me, it's like that's pretty normal, between players. There's some, most of the time you shake the other guy's hand, and there's guys who know each other on different teams, but there's occasionally some jawing that goes on between the two teams, post game. But that's evidently not what happened after he met with the media. So after he talked with us post game, and we talked with Ahmad Green and talked to Destin Mack. He went back out. Brent Thompson went back out onto the field, and evidently a fan was talking to one of the players and talking about how they weren't playing with heart, or they didn't play hard, or whatever, and a confrontation ensued. Now, I have not been able to confirm that with Brent, but some people within the Citadel officials have confirmed that was kind of what happened. So, but I haven't gotten the full story from Brent, but I am going to ask him about that Saturday after the Wofford game.
All right, Andrew, thank you for that. Now we move to Tuesday on the Citadel campus, where the coach has his weekly press conference. And at that weekly press conference, as we've already hinted, Coach Thompson was very brief, and he went right to ultimately the confrontation that he was talking about. Let's hear what the coach had to say about that, and then we'll weigh in here. Here's the head coach of the Dogs, Brent Thompson, from his Monday presser.
I was a little bit disappointed at the end of the game. If you want to yell at me and you want to come at me, that's perfectly fine. I'm here to take that. But if you want to yell at my players, I'm gonna have a problem with that. Those guys fought hard out there. If you're a fan, sometimes you just need to shut up and move on. Okay. The second thing is you also don't want to want to say too much with other people around, because there's times out there where some people are going to take offense to it. I'm used to it and I can handle it. I've got no problem with it. But we played our butts off and we just didn't come out on the right side of things. So that's all I got to say.
All right, that is the head coach of the Citadel, Brent Thompson, again from earlier in the week. And I have been around Coach Thompson a fair amount, and I do believe, Andrew, I detected some real emotion in his voice there. I mean, he sounded choked up to me.
Yeah, no question about it. I thought he was going to get really mad. I thought he was going to kind of, whether you like Brent Thompson, whether you don't like Brent Thompson, whether you like his offense or you don't like if it's his offense, to me, Brent Thompson is a good human being. He cares about these guys. No matter what happens to him, I think he's in the business for the right reasons. And this is just a coach who's sticking up for his players. And I respect that in a coach. You want to come after me as a coach? Hey, I get paid. I get paid. The big bucks, if you want to say the big bucks, but I get paid to take criticism, from the fans and from the media. And so that's kind of the job description. But don't go after my players. And again, I respect that out of him.
All right. Now, Andrew, it was brought up to me and my attention, and I have actually reached out to the Citadel Sports Information Director, and as of right this second, I don't have a response back. So I don't have an answer to this, but it was brought to my attention, and I'd love to have some kind of confirmation that the Citadel Athletic Director was not even there at Parents Weekend. I hope that's not true. Do you have any clue about that? I've asked the SID
I don't know
if he was there.
If that's true or not, I know that I didn't. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he was there or not. I can say this: I did not see him there.
Okay.
And normally I do see him there on game day, so I did not see him there. So I can neither confirm nor deny that.
And the only reason that even is a question mark is when you've got emotional stuff going on like this, it's kind of important to have the SID around.
Yeah.
And that's Coach Thompson's boss.
Yeah. Are we talking about the SID or the AD?
Did I say SID? I'm sorry. I meant AD. My apologies.
AD. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
John Brush was there.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he was there. But the AD, there's only 5 home games all year. You'd think, I hope he was there, but if he wasn't, golly, I can't imagine not being at a game where you only got 5 of them all year. And someone even said he wasn't at the first game, which I find that hard to believe. I don't know, unconfirmed. That's why I reached out to John trying to get an answer, and as of now, I don't have it. But that may explain the dysfunction. If there is any dysfunction, what's going on? I mean, good news, giving the Citadel a little credit last week, heading into Parents Weekend. Most of us got in the email inbox a campaign announcement where they're trying to finish up that east side of the stadium finally. We got to get that thing finished. We've got a lot of work to do. There's just so much, as we're all pulling for the Citadel here, that we can do. We just don't need to have things go bad if we can help it. And that's the whole point is let's try to not have problems that we cause ourselves if that is a problem. But, yeah, whoever that Citadel fan was that did mouth off with the coach, please, that's not very Citadel-like. Let's control our emotions and bring it to a forum like this. I mean, one of the great things about this show is we are not directly connected to the Citadel. You can say bad things if you want to. Just keep it within FCC guidelines. You can say positive things. Keep it within FCC guidelines. That we're a fan show, and that's why we've been doing this thing now 15 years, and I appreciate that. But more to come, I'm sure, on that. Andrew Miller with the Post and Courier will be all over it. So we turn the page, Andrew. Wofford is the opponent, and I know things are not good at the Citadel. Trust me. But we actually have won a ball game. My goodness, we're about to head to Wofford, Andrew, and they haven't experienced the taste of victory yet.
Yeah, 0-6 made a coaching change last week. So, yeah, things definitely not going well up in Spartanburg for the Wofford Terriers. I was looking at some stats. I think the Citadel is 118 in total offense, and Wofford is 119 nationally ranked in total offense. I think we're going to see some, unfortunately, really bad offenses go at it against each other. I give the Citadel the edge here in this game. I know it's on the road, and I know the Wofford's really looking. I thought they played pretty well last week against Sanford. Sanford, I think, won 2014. But I think the Citadel's got the edge defensively, and I think that's where they're going to end up winning the game, making a couple plays on the defense side of the ball. They got some ball hawks back there in that secondary, especially with Mack. They're going to create a couple of turnovers, and I think that's going to be the difference in the game for the Bulldogs. And I'm really eager to see Ahmad Greed get up there, start on the road in his second game. I'm more of a half full kind of guy. I look at, and I know you guys have, you and Thomas, you've been following this program forever and ever. I saw a spark from the Bulldogs against Furman offensively, and I think they can build on that. So I'm a little more optimistic than you guys are, I think. But yeah, I think this is it's a certainly a must win for the Citadel if they want their season to kind of turn around and go in the right direction. But I like their chances up in Spartanburg.
At AP Miller _PNC is how you can follow Andrew on Twitter. And I did make sure you go there during a game if you're not there at the stadium. And Andrew's got all the updates going on. What's going on with the Facebook page for the Post and Courier Citadel sports coverage, Andrew?
Yeah, Jeff Hartzell, he's kind of the guy in charge of that. And he and I need to talk. We need to figure out what's going on there and who needs to be putting the update stuff there. But we're going to get that. We're going to hopefully get that figured out this week. But like I said, I got a wedding on the horizon. That's where it's not involved with this. That's where my focus has been.
I understand. We totally understand. But I know that Facebook page has a lot of followers. That's the only reason I'm asking that. And it will link you into the great stories.
I was gonna say I'm working on that father-daughter dance. We've been practicing, rehearsing, so that's taking up all my time.
Yeah, all right. Well, I can't help you with that one because I don't have a daughter.
Yeah.
All right, Thomas. Any words for Andrew before he gets out of here and we welcome on Coker Day?
No, I think my wife went to Wofford, so it's always
house divided.
For this game, and let's just hope that the cure to winless Wofford isn't El Cid. So I agree with Andrew. Hope I think we have a spark with a new QB. Hopefully, our defense can seal the deal for us.
All right, Andrew. Anything else? So before we depart, sports related, not even football, that we need to be aware of that's going on with the Post and Courier.
Yeah, met with Ed Conroy last week. Ed's a guy that I've known for 30 plus years. Wrote about him a little bit when he played at the Citadel his senior year. I think the program is in really good hands with him. It'll be a little bit. The basketball team will be a little bit different. It won't be as I call the first shoot mentality that they had under Duggar, but they're going to still play at a fast pace. I think they'll be a little bit better fundamentally and on the defensive side of the ball. It's going to take him a year or two to get this thing going, but I mean he's the last guy to win 20 games there, and I think he's going to get this program back on the right track.
All right, we'll be looking for that. Again, the Post and Courier with Andrew Miller on Twitter. You can follow him at APMiller _PNC. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, check it out. Andrew, thank you for your time, and go practice that dancing.
All righty. Thanks, guys.
And maybe that Citadel basketball team will be dancing here pretty soon. We sure hope so. All right, let me tell y'all about a great, great partner in our presentation here each week. It is IPS Packaging and Automation. They've been doing it since 1976. IPS Packaging and Automation provides manufacturers and e-commerce companies with the very best packaging products and automation in the entire industry. They offer a complete line of packaging products from stretch films and 3M tapes to corrugated boxes, also strapping and equipment automation. IPS Packaging and Automation will analyze and streamline your current methods to improve packaging processes. 800-277-7007 is the number to call to learn more. Visit them at ipack.com. IPS Packaging and Automation is a proud supporter of those Citadel Bulldogs, and we sure appreciate them. Now, moving on our program today, as I said, we've got a star-studded show today. We're going to have an appearance by, William Shatner. How about that? We're going to have that in just a moment. But right now, we're going to have another celebrity that's going to make an appearance right here on Citadel Gray Line. It is from the class of 1995, Coker Day, and he's got a business in Aiken, and he's just opened that business, a second store in the capital city of South Carolina, Columbia. And let's go hear all about Coker Day and his business, Pedego, in Aiken and in Columbia.
Hi, my name's Coker Day, and I'm the owner of Pedego Electric Bikes of Aiken. We're a bicycle shop here in Aiken where we do sales, service, rentals, and tours. Come on in and take a look at our shop. We're here in the beautiful village of Woodside, and we have a really large selection of Pedego Electric Bikes. We try and keep all the 500 models in stock. If your bike ever needs service, you can bring it in. We have one of the best mechanics around, and he works on Pedegos and as well as regular bikes. Bring him. Right there. We have a large selection of everything, every accessory you need to go along with your bikes. A huge selection of Gooder sunglasses, helmets, 1000 and nut case, and then tons of accessories, especially coming up with the holiday season. So we'd love for you to come by and check us out. We have a really unique experience for you here in Aiken, South Carolina.
And there is the man behind Pedego in Aiken and Columbia. It's Coker Day. Welcome in to Citadel Greyline, sir.
Thanks, John. I appreciate you having me. You made me a little nervous talking about the FCC guidelines because I'm not too up on those, but I'll try and stay in between the lines.
I think you'll do just fine. So what a great thing to talk to you, and a very successful Citadel man that wears that band of gold, class of 1995. And how in the world did you get into the Pedego business, Coker?
Well, you know, I had another business. Well, I still have another business, Daybreak Adult Care Service. And I did that for about 20. I've done it for around 22 years. Several years ago, to make a long story short, my wife went on a girls' trip to Austin, Texas. And when she got back, you always talk about what your favorite things you did on your trips was. And she had gone on a food tour. And she didn't say much about the food, but the bikes that she rode on were pedal assist electric bikes. And she was like, you know, it takes the hills out of the equation. It was just nice to be outside. So, of course, like guys do, the next time I had an opportunity to buy a gift, I remembered, oh, that'll be easy. So I bought us 2 of those bikes, and I liked them more than she did. We live in a neighborhood in Aiken where they don't allow private golf carts or mopeds or scooters, but they allow these bikes. And it's really hilly around here. And the first time I got on one, I felt like a kid again, and I thought I had to open up a store. It started off as kind of my hobby. I ride my bike up here to work every day when I'm hanging out in the shop. But then we started selling a lot of bikes, and so I wanted to put a shop right near where my other business is in West Columbia. So that's where our new store is now.
How about that? Coker Day again. With Daybreak Adult Care in the Columbia area, which I know you've had other locations in South Carolina in the past. You've actually helped present Citadel Greyline in the years past. So I really appreciate your support of this program and your support of Citadel Athletics, Coker. Let's talk about your background. Of course, you are a guy who's a native South Carolinian. What in the world led you to go to 171 Moultrie Street?
You know what? I think it was somebody there was probably a freshman that came back to church wearing his uniform that had something to do with it. And, you know, my parents used to send me to a summer camp there every summer. They used to have the summer camp for boys. And, you know, I fell in love with the place. Now, I wasn't too much in love with it when I got there. But, man, it's a great place to be from.
Yeah. I hear some laughter over there. You know, I don't know what's going on in the peanut gallery from the class of 95, but that's Thomas Scruggs, and you guys are classmates. So
that's right. And he was, you know,
Yes,
the Citadel Network has helped with Daybreak. We've taken, you know, people when they find out that you're a Citadel grad, they'll always give you the first shot. They might, you know, then it's up to you to win the business. But even with our shop, our bike shops, Thomas was one of my first people that crossed my threshold, came in to rent some bikes with him and his wife. Another classmate was my first customer in there. So, yeah, the Citadel Network really does help out in ways I would have never thought about, you know, that being a benefit when we were in college. You know, I figured maybe I'd help me get a job, which that wasn't the case, but it's helped out getting customers. And also, you know, I think being from there, if you're a business owner, you get in some pretty stressful situations. I think all that artificial stress that they put on us in college really does prepare you to, you know, your gut for what you're going to get down the road.
Mr. Scruggs, take it away. Do you know Coker?
Well, you know, my classmate Coker, you know, I think maybe we are the last class, as we like to say, John. But, you know, not everybody could be in Delta Company like us. So anyway, but yeah, actually, my wife and I, we kind of did a staycation in Columbia last weekend, and I said, hey, my classmates got these electric bikes. Let's go try it out. So we drove over the bridge and got to a store Saturday morning, and I thought we were going to have to load these things in our car, and it's going to be a big hassle. And so we get there, and Coker, comes out and greets us, and it's just a great experience. And I'm glad that I was one of his first customers.
That's right.
And that's the thing about classmates, but even goes beyond that about wearing the band of gold. Is we promote each other and support each other unlike any other institution in the United States. And I think we're very proud of that. And so I was very proud to be one of his first customers here in Columbia. John, you should try it out, man. Next time you come to Columbia, definitely go by and get you an electric bike. We went about 5 miles down the river walk, and if you've never done it, it was outstanding.
Columbia has one of the best river walks in the state, and I didn't know about it until I was looking for a place to put my shop, embarrassingly. But yeah, you can ride tons of immaculate boardwalks, covered bridges, and never pass a car along the Congaree River.
Well, let me just tell you, I have a recommendation. If y'all know anybody in state government in South Carolina, I think we should rename Interstate 20 the Scruggs Day Highway, because you two boys ride that road a whole lot. Coker, as if you weren't already on it enough, now you've got this business in West Columbia. You're back and forth on I-20 between Columbia and Augusta, and Scruggs, you've got business over there. I feel for you. I guess y'all know all about exits 44 and 39.
Well,
yes, we do. And John, they expanded. So from 378 all the way down to the Gilbert exit, your old stomping grounds. It's 3 lanes now. It's great.
Yeah.
I've been in between Aiken and Columbia for it feels like I have 2 homes, and I just highly recommend adaptive cruise control on your car, and it makes the interstate an audible books.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a nice place. Don't let me get y'all wrong, but there really isn't a whole lot of businesses and stuff in between there, other than what's our adult place on exit 39?
I don't know.
Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Right when you hit Lexington County. All right.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, John. I just want to ask Coker. So you go from your wife, buying her a couple electric bikes. That's a big leap into, hey, I'm going to open my own business. I mean, how did that happen?
Well, as John said, we used to have several day breaks, and we still have one in Columbia, and there's one in Aiken. And we had closed one in Hilton. I ended up having a lot of time on my hands, so we had got these bikes, and people around the neighborhood started asking me about the bike. They would see them. I'll be honest, when I opened up the shop, I think people thought I was a little bit crazy.
I thought that.
Electric bike shop in Aiken. But the customers that buy these bikes are mainly retirees, and we have a huge retired population here. And for the first couple of years, yeah, I wasn't selling to people in Aiken. People were driving from Florida and Charlotte and Atlanta to get these bikes. Now that there's more shops and there's more demand, we have plenty of customers just in our driving area.
Well, Coker, you talk about retirees. This next guy that we're going to hear from is not really a retiree. He's actually still involved in work. In fact, he's going out of space these days. William Shatner has been a spokesperson for Pedego. So, if y'all don't mind, let's welcome in Captain Kirk here to hang out with General Rawl, General Scruggs, and General Day here, and let him tell us more about Pedego, if you don't mind. Take it away there, Mr. Shatner.
Hi, I'm William Shatner. I've got a big family. We do a lot of family things together. We've gone on many adventures, none more joyful than the electric Pedego bike that we all have. We take many trips together, and it's unifying, it's joyful, and it really is something we all look forward to. The first thing that comes to mind with Pedego is the ease with which you can use it. It's so easy. It's simplicity itself. Pedego means fun. It is. It's fun. And it's fun for the entire family. And that's what I'm using it for. It's great because I can keep up with the 20-year-olds in our family. In fact, if the truth be known, I go a little faster. Hello, fun.
Is that guy not awesome or what? William, thank you
He's
very
awesome.
much, and welcome into Citadel Greyline for your first appearance here. You good Montreal native, you. Coker, how about that? You got William Shatner telling us how great your
I've got
company
to meet him the last 3 years. We go out to California once a year for a dealer meeting, and Mr. Shatner's always there. He's 92 years old right now and gets around better than most people you wouldn't see out in public.
That's because he's got a Pedego, Coker.
That's right. He has 16 of them.
Does he really?
He does.
So, Coker, do you have to wear a helmet when you ride these things?
I wear a helmet whenever I ride a bicycle. And then if you're renting from us, we do require folks to wear helmets. When you buy the bike, there's not a helmet law in South Carolina. So it's really whatever risk you're willing to take.
What's the maximum speed?
All of our bikes are able to ride on regular bike paths. So we have them governed at 20 miles per hour. If you look at most good electric bikes, they're going to have a sticker on it that has a number 1 or number 2 on it. As long as it has one of those stickers, you can ride it anywhere you ride your regular bikes. There are some bikes out there that go a little faster that are only allowed on roads. But safety is a big concern of mine. I've fallen down on a bike, and I've had some customers fall down on bikes, and I try and avoid that whenever I can.
How about that? Thomas?
I got up to about 20 miles an hour on Saturday. So
Yeah, they'll get up to 20.
So what was your experience like, Thomas?
What's that?
You had a great experience?
Oh, I had a great experience. My wife, I'll tell you something funny. So Coker found this out, when we finished up. So my wife didn't really listen to the part about accelerating. So she spent most of the 5 miles actually pedaling. Now, you got pedal assist, so it's easier than pedaling a normal bike. But I kept leaving her for long periods of time. I'd have to stop and look back and see where she was. Well, that's because I was barely pedaling. So, which is, to me, is the point of these electric bikes.
Yeah, you can get as much or little exercise as you want to.
Well, Coker, now that this invention's out there, I looking back, I wish this had been around in the early 90s, and I could have been on the Citadel bicycling team, or whatever it's called. Bicycling, what am I talking about?
We would have been going out the gates in our PTs a lot more. We're on restrictions,
Yeah. I will say, when you first opened your business, I do believe I remember reading about South Carolina DNR teaming up with Pedego as
we
wildlife
donated,
agencies.
Yeah, we donated a bike to the South Carolina Department Natural Resources, and it's a fat tire bike that they use to catch deer poachers. These bikes can go back in the woods, and they don't make any noise. I've got a lot of our classmates that have bought them, and they take them turkey hunting. We got some good fat tire bikes for that type of use. Richland County Sheriff's Department's bought 2 of our mountain bikes that they're using to patrol at some of the games and some of the areas in Columbia. And we're going to be donating a bike to the West Columbia Police Department coming up. Our grand opening is on November 2nd. And so we'll have a day that day, and we'll donate a bike, and we'll have a big ribbon cutting. And I'd love for everybody who wants to come on out.
Wow. Did I just hear him say he was going to give a bike to the Citadel Greyline, Thomas? Did I hear that?
Well, and but one thing, if you are a Citadel grad and you come in either of my shops, if you tell them you're a Citadel grad, show them your ring. That we have a Citadel discount built in our POS system, and it's a good discount.
Awesome.
Now, did I get that discount, Coker, last Saturday?
When you buy a bike, not rent one.
Oh, not rent. Okay.
That's hilarious. Hey, while we're talking about giving things away, we have not been able to give away our knob knowledge. Were you pretty good at knob knowledge, Coker?
I probably not. And I know I'm not now, but I can try.
I don't know. You're a big, executive and all that kind of stuff. Knob Knowledge is brought to us each week by our great partner in BigRedPalmetto.store. Last week, our trivia question was, can you name the on-the-field coach on the Citadel coaching staff that wears the band of gold? We only have one. Now, we had a couple of guesses. One was a very good guess. Unfortunately, I don't think this coach is actually a guy that wears a headset and helps call plays. That answer was Joe Call, the incorrect guess. He's a new addition to the Citadel staff, a former Somerville High School coach, former Citadel quarterback, the grandson of John McKissick. That was a great guess, but not technically correct. The answer I was looking for last week was Dominique Allen, the Citadel great quarterback of the 2015 and 2016 seasons. He's now on the offensive staff at the Citadel. That's the answer I was looking for. Nobody gave it to us, so we're going to hold on to our Big Red Palmetto store gift certificate. We got to ask another one this week. And Coker, I was looking for a Batesburg-Leesville area knob knowledge question this week.
Okay.
Now, I'll give you just a second to think about that. I need to come up with one. I've got one, but if you can come up with a better one, feel free. The winner of our gift certificate, of our knob knowledge, gets a $25 gift certificate to BigRedPalmetto.store, where you get to go on there and get hats, shirts, all kind of goodies, great class-specific items there. If you've got a reunion coming up and more, they got Citadel parent gifts that you can get at BigRedPalmetto.store. So many great things. BigRedPalmetto.store. Check it out, and you will be very happy with all of the lineup of officially licensed goods that bear the Citadel logo. BigRedPalmetto.store. How about that? All right, Coker, I've given you plenty of time to think about it. Can you come up with a good Batesburg, Leesville area, your sort of hometown knob knowledge question for the week?
I cannot. Batesburg, Leesville. I don't remember. I know a couple guys that went there before I did, but I just know all my classmates that went with me down there.
All right. Well, in honor of Sheely's Barbecue Country, great place if y'all haven't been there, I have a trivia question for that area of South Carolina. And the question is, besides Coker Day, there is another alumnus of the Citadel from the Batesburg-Leesville area that has a connection to the Citadel. I don't want you to tell me who the alum is because I don't think you're going to really know it. But the connection that alum has to the Citadel is on the Citadel ring. Very prominent part of the Citadel ring has a connection to the Batesburg-Leesville area. If y'all can text me that answer at 843-779-8496. Right there it is again, 843-779-8496. Tell me that answer, and you'll get a $25 gift certificate to BigRedPalmetto.store. And a little hint, this is old core stuff we're talking about, so check it out. How about that one? Are you impressed with that, Coca?
I'm very impressed. I'm going to have to go and find the answer.
It's gonna be a tough one. This one's easy. This one's a tough one to answer, but it's also easy to answer because I'm not trying to get the person's name. I just want to know what their connection is. All right.
Yeah, we got some cool Citadel connections here in Aiken too.
Yes, we had one of your most famous Aiken residents on our show last year.
Ah, nice.
A guy named Thomas Ravenel.
Oh, that's right. He's a new neighbor here.
He's a Yankee. He's moved in there.
That's right, carpetbagger.
Yeah, but there's Aiken County, great place. I mean, all of South Carolina is great.
Summerall House here in Aiken.
Okay.
There's actually General Summerall had a home here.
Right. All right. Okay. So we know about Pedego, thanks to William Shatner, thanks to Coker Day. Great discount available for it. Coker, as we kind of wrap up things with you and wrap up our show this week, what is being a Citadel alum? What has it meant for you as a successful business person in the Palmetto State?
You know, the camaraderie that everybody knows about when you get out of college is a huge thing. But also, every time I've gone somewhere, whether the first few years out of college, I wasn't stuck here, and I wasn't in Aiken, I wasn't in Columbia. I had a job in Minnesota, and I would meet people from the Citadel up there. There's always a nice brotherhood. But like I was telling someone earlier, the education you get there, I don't think it was as much as the book smarts, which I had a great education. I thought the business program there was excellent. But the life skills and the ability to handle stressful situations when you get out, I think that's really, I've thought about it before, what's the biggest thing I got out of going to college there? And I think that's what served me the best.
Good answer. You like that answer, Thomas?
Outstanding, sir.
All right. Thomas, anything more for Coker before we say goodbye to him? Let him go back to his other job, not running his mouth with us?
No, I'm going to see if I can save up a few pennies here and get that Citadel discount up.
There you go.
I guess because we're all close here, I don't need to know the discount amount. But I mean, what is the listed price of one of those bikes, Coker?
Our bikes start at $18.95, and I'd say the average bike that comes out of here is.
Did you say 1842?
18.90. There you go. But the discount will actually be a little better than that. How about that? But we have MAP pricing. I'll go ahead and tell you, the Citadel grads, I give a 5% discount off everything they buy. So just come in. That's right. That's right. Except for the tours. I mean, the rentals there, Thomas.
But you got, when you come in there, you got to get all the gear.
I get racks, helmets, everything. And we'll have a Citadel discount. It just shows 5%.
And your William Shatner didn't really show me how to do this. Are these things easy to keep up?
Oh, they're so easy. Yeah, they're just a regular bicycle.
But don't you have to charge it or something?
Oh, yeah, you charge the battery, but they have about a 76-mile range on some of the bikes. It takes a couple hours to charge. You can charge it on the bike, or you can take the battery into your house and just plug it into a regular outlet. They're super easy. Matter of fact, once people try them and get on them, they're and the biggest thing is like some other things you buy, like they're toys. They're fun toys, but you'll actually use these things. My customers, I see them back every day, every week on their bikes, but getting more bikes, having fun. So they're addictive. Once you come and try one, you're gonna want one.
All right. And if not, I know your number. I'm gonna call you.
That's right.
Coker Day, thank you so much for taking some time to tell us all about Pedego Bikes and Daybreak Adult Care and just your Citadel story, our Band of Gold Spotlight, Citadel Class of 1995 member, Coker Day. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all having me.
Thanks,
Thomas?
Coker. Great seeing you, buddy.
Thomas, good job on that. Class of 95 really isn't so bad after all. Thank y'all, everybody, for tuning in. Yep. Thank y'all, everybody, for tuning in this week for Citadel Gray Line. We will see everybody back here next week when we look back what we hope will be a win over those pesky Walford Terriers. It's house divided this week in the Scruggs house. Y'all take care, and this has been Citadel Gray Line.